Today we are on to block number 6 of our press flower, and I have a little assistant here who wants to help me because he is eager to be on my video. So this is Jaden, my 7-year-old. He wants to be in a video. So everybody meets Jaden, but he just wants to be in a video, so I let him. Moving on to our today's program. We are sewing block number 6 of the pressed flowers sew along from Fat Quarter Shop. This one is called Anemone, and this is what block number 6 is going to look like. So with this video, I'm going to go step by step and showing you my process of sewing this block. So, bye. Typically, I'll get my box around the 21st of each month, but for some reason this month I got my box I think it was like late, like 26. Here we are. I am putting the video out as soon as I can. This is what my cutout pieces look like, and I am doing a crossover designers. So one thing I want to encourage you about is you don't have to be a designer, like it doesn't have to be one designer for a quilt. For example, I am using Yoda here. This is a Beautiful Day line, and this is the line from Shine On, the pink, and this right here is from Sunday Stroll from Bonnie and Camille as well. These are 3 different line of fabric that I'm using right here and is going to work. That being said, let's get sewing. And before I sew the block, if you're new here, thank you so much for visiting me at the nest today. I would love it if you subscribe down below. That really helps me, and it lets YouTube know that you watch my video and you want to see more of it. And it doesn't cost you anything. It is completely free, but it helps me out by you subscribing to my channel. I would love for you to continue following me here on YouTube by subscribing. Thank you so much. Let's sew our block number 6. The first thing we're doing on this block is making an HST. So I am taking my pieces. I have my A and D cut out. I'm going to put them right sides together, and I'm just going to sew down the middle. But I am not drawing a line here. Instead, I have a seam allowance guide right here that helps me with sewing an accurate 1/4 inch seam. So what I'm going to do is sew now on either side of my line. So these are both done. I'm just going to get a scissors, cut down the middle, and we have 4 HST all done. So now what I'm doing is just getting a scissors, cutting down the line. I don't need to be super accurate with this. I'm just going to snip down. Some people will measure, but there is no point. So I'm just going to snip. So this is right here is our first step. I have the 4 HST needed, and I pressed and trimmed it down to the size that it calls for. So this is done. I'm just going to put it aside. So the next step, we are going to do kind of like a square and a square, but using different sizes. So we're going to take 4 of our square, and we're going to do a bait of like a half flying geese. So what I'm going to do is piece all this at the same time, just kind of do a chain piece, and then come back and do the other one. And when I finish doing that, I'll meet you back here and I will have it pressed. Okay, so all this are done right here. This is like a square and a square, but the bottom piece right here is going to be a different size. That's what I'm going to do now. After I do that, I'll meet you here. Okay, so we're going to sew another snowball on the bottom here. We're going to do another snowball on the bottom here, and then this step will be done. And these are teeny tiny. So that's what we're doing. Just going to sew this pink right here. Like I was saying, this piece right here is smaller than this right here. So this is what your second step is going to look like. So this 4 right here are all completed, and they are right there. I'm going to put them on the side. The next thing we're going to do is take our piece B, and we're going to take our J, and we're going to make a 4 patch, which there is nothing to it. So here we go. So this is what this section is going to look like. It's just going to be a 4 patch. I'm going to sew this to this, this to this, and connect them, nothing to it. Typically what you would do is just sew 2 strips, cut it, and then flip it, and that's it. It will be like a 1 step. But for this, I'm sewing everything on this block like the pattern intended. The pattern is meant for everybody to be able to attain this block with beginners in mind. So I'm now going to cut this right here, the thread. I'm just going to open it up, finger press it. By saying finger press, I'm going to, instead of using an iron, I'm just going to finger press it with my finger. It's just a little lingo, like, okay, when you're ironing something, I'm not going to use heat. I'm just going to use my finger. So it's pressed open. I'm going to put it together with my seam together like this, and then I'm going to sew. I'm just going to hold it together with my fingers, and that's it. Now that this is done, we'll only need to make 1, and we're gonna put it aside. And now I'm just gonna cut it right there. Step number 4 has us taking this 4 pieces right here. We are going to sew 2 of this with the snowball going this way, and then we're going to sew the other 2 with the snowball going this way. So I'm just going to take 2 now, put them aside so I don't get myself confused, and then take this 2 right here and then do what the pattern calls for. So we're going to take our background piece, put it on like this, and we're just going to sew. I'm going to double check against my pattern before I trim this part up. This is what it's supposed to look like so. And I'm going to cut with the scissors. So what I'm doing here is pressing open with my finger. I'm not using heat, meaning like the iron. I'm just going to press it open with my finger before I use an iron so it will lay a little bit flatter. This step right here has my snowball going from top left to the bottom right. We have another set of this same size of the green, of the turquoise rather, and then we are going to do another snowball, and then it's going to go from the top right to the bottom left this time. So again, I'm going to make sure that I am going the right direction with this step and according to the pattern, and I am. We're also going to sew another background to the bottom, but it's going to go like this. That's what we're doing. All right. So now I need to make sure I don't mess it up. So it's going to go, this is going this from here, and then this is also going from here. So we're doing the same thing like a slicer. We're going to come and do the same thing to the other side. I have this first part right here done. I have my pieces going from here to here, and then from here to here, and then this one is also going from here just like that, like a slicer. This next piece I've already sewn on. This is going from top right to the bottom left, and then the bottom piece of here is going to do the same thing from top right to the bottom left. So all of the step from 1 through 4 are all completed. This is the first one we did, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so now we are going to assemble our block. I have this right here. This is my middle piece. So I'm going to put this right here. This is our center piece. Going to bring this right here so that way I don't mess anything up. Put this like this. I know the pink one has to meet. So I'm just going to assemble my blocks like this, and like this. And we're going to bring our HST that we did at first. We're going to bring it facing this way. This is what our block is looking like right now. So what I'm going to do now is piece this green ones first. I was trying to assemble it. It looks like it will be easy to mix up. So what I'm going to do is piece this right here and then piece this and then have it done. Then I'll go back and piece the main flower. Both of my leaves are done. So this one's got to go like this, and then this one has to be like this, kind of like an arrow. So now what I'm going to do is connect this right here to this right here, and then I'll be done with this section. Making sure that my seam are meeting in the middle, and so. So now this is connected, and I'm going to connect these 4 pieces right here, and I'll join this to this, okay? And I'll meet you back here. So now what I'm doing is making sure that my pieces are on right before I join it together finally. And then I am pressing open with this. I know you may want to press it aside, that's okay. But with the way these are, with so many seams, it's better to just press open. If I have to press open, I do make my stitch length a little bit more tight, which is a 1.5. So that way my, my seam doesn't come apart when I'm ironing or kind of like pulling it apart. So that's why I am doing it that way. So if I'm going to press open, I will make my stitch length a little bit more tighter, meaning a little bit more shorter. So I'm going to sew now. I have pinned this so that way my my seam will meet and I don't have to worry about it moving while I'm sewing. There are a lot of seams here. I did press open. I pressed it with my finger first so that way I can kind of like get a good definition. Then I'll go ahead and use my iron to give it a little heat and flatten it a little bit. So this part right here is done. This right here by itself can easily be a block. It is so pretty. I think this red and this pink and then this little pink flower in between right here are like a perfect match. And this is a completely different designer, but it's Moda as well. This is a Corioto and this is a Bonnie and Camille. You can just kind of use whatever you have on hand. And that's what I'm doing here. And that's what I'm encouraging you to use is your own stash. You don't have to have, well, there are so many different fabric and different designers that has similar colors and similar genre. Like for example, like Tula Pink, which is my favorite, and Allison Glass has colors that kind of like mimic each other. And sometime I will do a cross designer between Tula Pink and Allison Glass, which is completely different brand, completely different company, and their color jives together so well. So this is just an encouragement for you to think outside of the fabric designer, outside of the box, however way you want to look at it. So these right here are pieced, and I'm still making sure that this is on right before I connect this. Now this right here is a seam. So this seam right here and this seam right here, I am going to go ahead and pin. For all the other one, it does not matter. This is the only thing that matters right here for me. This right here, this seam and this seam, I want them to line up nicely. And I am going to pin them. I'm going to pin right here as well. This seam will also need to match. So two seams that we have to match right there. And I'm going to start right here on this piece part right here because I pinned here and pinned here. I kind of want to get it done first so that way I can make sure that everything else will line. Here is our block all done right here. I think this is super pretty. So block number 6 is complete. This is my block. Okay, I think my block look super pretty. So this is block number 6 all done right here. And don't be afraid to cross designers because if I think I mentioned this in my previous videos, if it's a Moda red, it's most likely going to match like cross designers. If it's a Riley Blake red, their red will always match another designer that's within company. So their red will always match each other 9 times out of 10. So I'm going to show you what my reds look like. So this is the red from Corioto and this is the red from Bonnie and Camille. Not too far apart, right? And then this is block number 2. This is the red here and this is the red here. It's not too far apart. I just want to encourage you that you don't have to use one designer for one quilt. You can cross design and nobody will ever know that this is not a Bonnie and Camille color when it's all done and in the quilt. We've completed 6 blocks out of 12. So this is our 6th block. We're halfway done. So this is number 1, right? All on video. You can go back and watch the video for these. I've done them step by step and tutorial on all of it. This is block number 2. This is block number 3. This is block number 4. This is like one of my favorite. This is block number 5. I work for this block right here. This is the rose block. And this is actually one of my favorite. So, and then this right here is block number 6. This is the one we just completed today. With that being said, this is all I have for you today. I have completed block number 6 from our pressed flower sew along from Frackwater Shop. I would love it if you subscribe down below. With that being said, it's time for you to sew yours. Thank you so much for visiting with me today at my nest. And I would love it if you subscribe down below. And I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
What is it called?
Animal. Animal.
You say animal?
Yeah.
It's not animal.
I can't say it.
So we have to go look and ask Alexa what this block was called. It's a learning process here at Kate's Crafting Nest. So if we don't know something, we go look it up, right? Okay.
Bye.
Okay.